with you, man. I have to put the hat on.
Yeah, it's cold still. Well, it's supposed to be warm this week. I mean, these next couple of days.
Shit, it ain't cause they goddamn cold. Because I need a motherfucking haircut. I'm looking like Terry Porter soon.
Well, you need a butt cut. Yeah. But today, man, we're gonna talk about. We got some Bulls talk, man. We're gonna go in and run. I got a few things I want to run through right quick. You know, the trade deadline came and went without the Bulls making any moves or whatnot. You know what I'm saying? So I wasn't expecting a lot, but then when the day came, I was more like they're not gonna make a move. You know what I'm saying? So it didn't bother me that they did make a move. I wouldn't have been surprised if they did made a move. When the 3 o'clock, 2 o'clock hit or whatever, what was you thinking when no movement happened?
I figured they weren't gonna make a move because they've been kind of like injured. You never seen the whole Bulls team played yet. You know what I'm saying? You got Ball out, you got Caruso out. You know what I'm saying? You just get the players back slowly over the time. I think the only thing that they missing is a big man. So I knew they weren't going to unload nobody for a big man. And plus, with people being out injured, it's hard to make a trade. Let's say if they wanted to trade Kobe White. Well, you need to scoring. You don't have that. Your scoring is injured. They off. So, you know, they probably put them behind. And plus, Kobe's still a key player, too, when he's hot. So it was best to stay put and kind of like observe the buyout market.
Yeah, I think, and with Kobe White, I was in the beginning of the year, I was more like he don't fit. But when he's on, like he's been on these past few games or whatever, it's kind of hard to say trade him. You know what I'm saying? Because when you look at it, a lot of the six mans from Jamal Crawford to what's the guy to play with the Clippers? They used to play with the Clippers. Now he played with Atlanta Hawks. Won 6 Man of the Year.
Oh, you talking about Lou Williams? Lou Williams.
Yeah, Lou Williams. What up, Tim?
What up?
Lou Williams. I mean, they could be hot, and then some games they could be cold. So when you got a 6 man come off the bench, I mean, you expect those guys to have that. You can't expect your stars to be like that. You know what I'm saying? So I think now I'm at a point with White. I want to see him stay with the Bulls. Like I want him to finish his career with the Bulls. I think he's that type of guy that he's dedicated, and I think he's loyal. You know what I'm saying? You rarely find players that's loyal to teams anymore. James Harden, you know what I'm saying?
So, James Harden, let me get you started with him. He that little hunchback of Notre Dame, man. Hey, he finds an easy way, man. He don't want to. The thing with the players today, star players, and this started with LeBron. They don't want to take that hard route and fight to get that title. They want the easy route. They want to team up and they want to dominate. Like this is why I respect players like Steph Curry. Because Golden State. I know we get drifting off the Bulls a little bit, but Steph Curry won a championship before Kevin Durant got there. They won that with Golden State. You know what I'm saying? You know, you got Kobe, who had his whole career at the Lakers and won titles. You know, so it's just like it's these players nowadays want to like Harden. Look at Harden and Westbrook. Those guys have been on like multiple teams the past 2 years, man. Multiple teams. So it's kind of like Harden is like, man, I'm like, dude, like really? And they still ain't gonna win the championship though. They still not gonna win because he's not getting the foul calls like he normally get. He lives and dies the free throw line. He's just not that dude in the playoffs. He hasn't played the guard to put on defense. The East is a lot tougher when they eat.
Yeah. But Tim, I was just telling Jay Hendo that there was no movement by the Bulls at trading deadline. How did you feel when no movement was made?
I'm not gonna lie, I was a little disappointed. I was hoping they would grab a power forward or at least a backup center. I know they were trying to go after the guy from San Antonio, but San Antonio wanted way more, involved with that trade. Again, I see them when they're healthy, they're going to be a force, but I still think you're missing that power forward aspect of, which we saw over, the last couple, not the last couple games they won, but the games that they were losing, they were getting annihilated on the boards. And I thought that they would at least make a move for, not a powerhouse name or like a big name, but at least to bring somebody in here that can, help with that aspect of the game. But we'll wait and see what happens with buyouts and all that.
Yeah, and that being said, I mean, I think those guys, the new front office, they have things up their sleeve. It's like they never come unprepared, it seems. So for them not to make a trade, I think they have some up their sleeve. They know what's going on. They know who they're going to target when players are brought out and things like that. Now, because I'm looking at it now, March 1st is they got it to March 1st to pick up anybody that's brought out to actually make the playoff roster. If that, I mean, when that becomes, what 1 or 2 players you like to see them target when that happens?
Oof. I wouldn't mind seeing it. Well, it depends on the list too about who's out there and who's available. But with some of the names that are being thrown out there, I wouldn't mind seeing Robin Lopez as a backup center to Vooch, just for defensive reasons, rebounding, and he's got a nice jump shot, and he could be a guy to back up Vooch, to give him a couple minutes where we can rely on him to get a couple baskets here and there. I would like to see man, I'm trying to think. Derek Favors, if he's bought out.
Yeah.
I'd love to see Derek Favors over here, because I think Derek Favors fits that power forward role that you need. He's another guy that can get points and grab rebounds. And then possibly
gotta go with DeAndre Jordan, because he might be out there at the LA
came up.
Yeah. If DeAndre Jordan's out there, then I would probably say yeah. But I'm thinking Robert Lopez, more of Derek Favors. Who else might be available? I saw a couple of names, but I'd probably say maybe those 2 guys would be the guys I would go after. I would stay clear of Gordon Dragic, just for the simple fact of it's too many point guards.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when everybody be healthy, Caruso come back, and they're gonna have too many point guards.
But if there's okay, because we'll get into Zach LaVine's situation a little bit later. Jonathan, what 1 or 2 players you think they should target right off the top once these players may be available?
Tristan Thompson or DeAndre Jordan, because they both rim protected. That's it. I think that's all you need to do is the big man position. I think once you get Ball, Caruso back, you got your point guards back. Plus, you got Ayo, who's been playing phenomenal ball. So you really don't need to pick up a point guard right now. Ayo's been holding it down. Also, Ayo has an awesome pick and roll game with Vucevic. They've been pick and roll him, and he's been setting them up. And that's why people think that Vooch been playing great, because Vooch playing great. Ayo has a lot to do with his increased numbers the past 10 to 15 games, because Ayo has been controlling the point guard, and he's been averaging about I gotta see the numbers, probably about 7 to 8 assists a game. He's been playing pretty solid with Vooch in the pick and roll, giving him the ball where he needs to get the ball at, and he has been playing down low lately. So you just need a big man that's athletic a little bit. And I think that Tristan Thompson and DeAndre Jordan are a little bit more agile. So when they when teams run pick and roll and Vooch get caught, you got players like that who's long, they can defend and block shots. So I'm gonna go with DeAndre or Tristan Thompson.
Okay, that's cool. I mean, and my two that I had in mind was in the beginning it was Tristan Thompson, but the realistic, I saw this name come up. I don't know, you guys may not know too much about him. Moses Brown, his name came up. He's a 7'2" center that he was playing with the Dallas last, and he just got traded and he just got brought out. He's a 7'2" center, a rim protector. Looked pretty decent. I don't know much about him, but he looked pretty decent. And I think more realistically,
he's young though, right?
He's 22.
They need, man, going to the playoffs, need that veteran championship leadership. Been there.
Yeah.
I would go with Tristan.
You definitely need the veteran presence in the playoffs, because being 22 years old, that might be something you want to pick up and maybe stash on your roster just to have, going into the next, couple of years.
Yeah.
But I think the veteran leadership, because they understand how important those games are, every second of that game is. And it's, to help the guys that haven't been there, the Zach LaVines, the Vujicics and stuff like that to let them know, like, hey, this is a different ball game. You know what I mean? So I think that's where you need that veteran leadership, because those guys have been there and they know what to expect and they know how to play in those situations, and they can pass that knowledge along to those guys. So,
well, somebody mentioned that they'll take Taco
Falls.
Yeah,
good. Like I think Tim just said, good young player, but Bulls to me have the potential to rep the East. It's cool to get a youngster like Taco Falls, but you want people that's been there, those big crowds, and played those games when the fans were going loud and there. But Tristan Thompson has been there. You know, DeAndre Jordan to a certain degree has, but with the Clippers. But I'm gonna go with Tristan Thompson because he has an NBA ring. He won before. He knows what it's like to play in that type of pressure. He's a physical defensive guy. He's gonna play aggressive. He's not gonna get pushed around the paint. Sometimes you see Vooch get pushed around the paint and guards coming in making buckets. He puts Tristan Thompson there to show a little force, and he'll finish too. You know, you got some guards on the Bulls team that have delivered that ball to him. He'll finish.
Well, I mentioned Tristan Thompson before in the group, but I also think that LeBron James, the type of player he is, will try to reach out to him and try to persuade him to come down to LA and help them out and stuff like that. Which I think it'll help them out as well. But I just something about LeBron doing stuff like that, man. I just think LeBron will reach out to him. I don't know how much him and LeBron is close. But if I'll go with Tristan Thompson as well. And back to Dragic, I think with him, I was saying maybe get him so Zach LaVine could get a little bit more rest because of his knee situation. I don't know what other you got guards that can play 1 and 2. You got Ayo who can play the point. You got Caruso. Caruso is out another 3 weeks in ball. That's what I'm saying. You got Caruso and Ball is out. Only person you got is, do you want to see? You guys say y'all want to see some veterans out there? Do you want to see Troy Brown Jr. out there jacking up shots and looking lost? And
Troy Brown Jr. plays defense and rebound. He's not really a good offensive threat. He's a wing guy that can defend, and he's not a good shooter. I ain't gonna flip him lie. He can hit now and then.
Well, if you pick up a Tristan Thompson or a let's say a Derek Favors, and they pop to that power forward role, Green can play the small forward role and DeRozan can play the 2 guard. You wouldn't have to worry about Troy Brown because Green's has been scoring buckets lately. So they can play so many different ways of doing it. I just think with Gordon Dragic is basically you're getting another guy out there, a little bit of size that he gives you, but I just don't think he fits the way the Bulls would be playing because he's tried that role before with Miami and it didn't go bode very well for him in Miami. So I think that if you get that physical presence that the Bulls need down low, I think that spells a lot for the Bulls because right now they can hang with teams scoring wise, and that's with LaVine being out, Ball being out, and Caruso still being out. So when they get those guys back, that scoring is going to go up. But it's what we see on a nightly basis is when we see the Embiids in town, and we've seen Milwaukee and Golden State, like they get physical, and we lack that physical presence down there. That I think that if you get that guy, you could be a Tristan Thompson. You get a physical guy and a guy that comes off the bench that can spell Vujacic and be that just physical. That's all we're asking for. Tony Bradley looks lost half the damn time he's out there. So if you can get 2 guys like that can bring that physical aspect to this team and be rim protectors, and when these guys get healthy, I think you have the recipe for a championship run at this point. Even though we would be happy with making it to the Eastern Conference Finals, but I think if you bring a veteran presence in and you bring a guy who's physical, the Bulls can be right there with the scoring that they're going to be getting back with giving, Levine rest and then Caruso and Bell coming back. Because you just got Derek Jones back, Junior back. He's going to be offensive. He's going to score some buckets for you. You still got those guys like Tyler Cook and, McKinney and stuff. So,
well, I didn't look at it as until you just said it, that they can actually run DeMar at the 2 and Green at the 3. I didn't think about that. And then Tristan Thompson at the 4. And then you got, from what I'm seeing, Patrick Williams should be back middle of March, I want to say. They say he's already took the cast off, so he's out and putting up some shots or whatever. So I'm cool with that, but I thought they probably would need somebody else so Zach LaVine could get some little bit of rest. But what you just pointed out, that actually would be a good idea to do like that.
I mean, you got the scoring. You got Kobe White, and like you just said, I forgot the name, Derek Jones Jr. You can play him at the 4, the 3. Like, he's agile. He can guard the 4, the 3, and the 2. So he's got long arms. He got a wingspan. It's pretty high. You still got Kobe White. So bring another guard in this rotation to be too crowded, because then you have Ayo, you have Caruso, you have Ball, you have Kobe White. You talking about putting a 5th guard up in there. I don't know how to work. We ain't talking about Zach LaVine when he come back, or even DeMar DeRozan can play the 2 and 3.
Yeah.
So I think adding the guard too much. Definitely a big body, because besides Vooch, you ain't really got much. You got the other guy, Bradley, to come in, but I mean, now let's get into Ayo Dosunmu. He actually been playing good. Man, he's been since he's been in the starting lineup. I mean, he's been throwing out a lot of dimes after Vooch and the rest of the players or whatever. You know, he's been playing real hell of a basketball these past few games and whatnot. He's doing it at a higher level too. He just had a concussion protocol a couple of days ago, but since he's been back from that, he's been just killing. So that being said, I mean, his contract is over the same time as Kobe White. After next year, his contract is over. And this brings us to the Zach LaVine. I posted in the group. Is Zach LaVine worth giving the Supermax to and taking the chance of losing one or the other, or even both of these guys? I don't think they probably lose both, but they'll lose one or the other. Hell no. You ain't giving Zach LaVine the max, the Supermax. You give him the max. But look, this is what we got to, right? Zach LaVine's got talent, right? Let me tell you something right now. The person that's playing like they earned a Supermax is DeMar DeRozan. He's underpaid right now. I know contracts in NBA is to be signed. DeMar DeRozan is over earning his money. It's earning his respect in the league. His numbers the last 8, 9, 10 games has been crazy. His play this year has been crazy. Nobody expected this from DeMar DeRozan. He's been leading. Now, Zach LaVine had times with DeMar DeRozan played. He don't have that same type of leadership that DeMar has. He ain't taking over the fourth quarter. Teams are not adjusting to play Zach LaVine. Teams are adjusting to take away from DeMar DeRozan and sometimes double teaming and taking away the mid-range game. Zach LaVine don't have that effect. He has to show it now into the playoffs. Like, hey, I can be a force too. And shooting all these jump shots that he shoots, fadeaway, ill-advised shots. I don't know. Max, yes. But you don't want to get stuck with a Russell Westbrook type of contract, because you see LA has a hard time unloading his $44 million.
Right. What you think, Tim? Is he worth the Supermax, or you just give him the max, or you offer him the max? Because nobody in an NBA team could give him the Supermax but the Bulls. But would he feel insulted if they don't give him the Supermax?
You know what? It's a question to ponder, because he's been there the last couple of years, but like Hendo said, DeRozan's the one playing like he deserves the Supermax. The way he's been balling every night, was it 6 straight games of 35 plus points? He's battling with an Embiid for the MVP. But if the Bulls make a serious run and they get far, and let's say, they make it to the Eastern Conference Finals or championship, and they are just a point away or a bucket away with this team, I don't see Zach LaVine being disrespected about getting the max, knowing that you keep this core unit together, because this team can win for years to come with all the young talent they have, knowing that in a couple of years you may lose DeRozan, but you can build up with Patrick Williams and Kobe White and Ayo on that team being so young as they are. You're going to get better year by year, and Zach LaVine knows that. He should know that I got something right here, right now, even though I got DeRozan here and Vujacic is old, but we can replace guys like that 3 years down the line. But let's get this young talent, this young core together, because that you look at it, that's what Denver's done. That's when AK was over there with Denver. He built a young core and kept those guys going, and new guys were going to fall off after years. Same thing with Golden State. It's the new blueprint of the NBA. Is you got your young talent and you keep that young talent because you see where it's been going. The teams are on the rise and teams are going to start winning. And I think Zach LaVine, even though he wants a max deal, but I think if the Bulls do real good, I think he might be cool to max deal and say, all right, let's go out and get somebody else that may be a piece away that he can figure that, hey, if I take the Supermax, we may lose Ayo or Kobe, but if I don't, we can keep them both, and we can still add a piece.
Right, and that's the way I was looking at it more. So don't take the Supermax to. I mean, people want to get paid. I understand that, but he also said he want to win too. So this is this will show you if you really want to win or he want to get paid. And if you do that, like Jonathan said, it's like you handcuffing your team. You handcuffing your team if you do that, because now you like Russell Westbrook in OKC, you can't do nothing else. And then with DeMar DeRozan leave, because even with DeMar DeRozan because he's 31, he'll be 32 this year.
Yeah,
he got a good 2 more years, and I still think he could play until like 36, but not at this high level. You can still move him to the bench, but you can still, if you don't give him the max, I think you could add some more.
I wouldn't say that, man. You got players like LeBron at 37 know what he's doing, man. I think the way DeMar DeRozan game is structured, he's not a wild, take it to the bucket like Westbrook, explosive. He's got this crafty old school game where he would just dog you mid range or post you up. He's got the old school game. So his game doesn't make him like take abuse. He don't take abuse from it. He's not going the whole like back in the day. You had Iverson, where they relied on speed. You have Russell Westbrook rely on speed and going aggressive to the hole. As you get older, your agility is not like that, like far as jumping and everything. So DeMar DeRozan, you don't know him as a dunker. You know him, he'll tie your ass up mid-range once you get in that free throw line. And on the side, he'll tie you up. So the way his game is structured, he has about a good 4 solid seasons when he's playing the league with this team.
Yeah, I mean, that's my whole thing. I just don't want them to be handcuffed, and we never had that issue. I mean, we know what the market is out there for. You know what I'm saying? We know what the market could do. But like I said, the only person could give, only team could give him the max is the Supermax is the Bulls. So I always say if he's crying about not getting a Supermax, I always had a guy that I always wanted to see them get even before they got DeRozan on the team, because I didn't think they were gonna get DeRozan. I wanted them to get DeRozan last year during the trade deadline or whatever, but it didn't work out. I thought me and Jonathan talked about this at the pre-show. I think Bradley Beal would fit nicely with DeMar DeRozan. If for some reason Zach is tripping, you know what I'm saying? He's not old. He's not old at all.
Hey, Zach started tripping, man. You got to start a trade because I'm not giving him the Supermax. He ain't a Supermax player, man. And then that knee is like got you thinking like,
yeah, you got to.
Let me say what happened.
Right, especially with that knee. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think you got to look at this though. Look at what AK did over in Denver. He didn't offer any of those guys a super max deal. You know what I mean? Like, Jokic got his max deal. Murray was still on a deal. You know, he brought guys in, and knowing that at any given time, you got injuries already, you may not be able to get a big deal like that because teams are weary of that. Because if they offer that, $300+ million deal, and all of a sudden, 17 games into the season, you blow your knee out. You're done for a year, and then structural damage. He could be like, "Well, this is my second or third surgery on this knee. I'm done." Now the Bulls are struck for 10 years or 12, whatever years it is, and be like, "Well, man, we can't afford to get anything because we just got screwed on this deal."
Right?
I I think with a max deal, you're able to get out of it. You know what I mean? Like you're able to move things around it, and plus, he can look at it as this: like if you get 2-3 years, and DeRozan comes off the books, let's say DeRozan retires, the Bulls can go add other pieces, and they can still restructure his deal to say, okay, hey, you've been balling out and you've been leading this team here. Let's add on some more money to your contract.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, because the max. It used to be a long extension or whatever, but I'm looking at next year because I gave Jonathan a rundown of what. Let me go through it again because I just saw it on the Twitter. How much? Okay, it says Chicago Bulls All-Star guard Zach LaVine will be eligible for a contract worth $245 this summer if he makes a. That's an average of $49 million per season. 49 per season. Now you putting him in a luxury tax. Now you ain't got the team yet to win.
Man.
No, I think that's why you got to offer him the max deal where you still have wiggle room to bring in pieces. You know what I mean? Like, again, as Bulls fans right now, we're so happy them sitting in the second seed. They've been playing good basketball. Guys are hurt, so we're all waiting for them to come back. But again, going to the playoffs is a different monster. We may make it to the Eastern Conference Finals and lose on another shot or a defensive problem where Vujic just doesn't grab a rebound, or we're still missing that power forward role, or so somebody doesn't do their job. You know what I mean? Then you're looking in the next season, and if you offer that super max, you're handcuffed. Now you're not getting that piece that you need, and it may not be an expensive piece, but there's going to be guys available that you're looking at to say, hey, that's our missing piece right there to put us over the hump to get an NBA title.
Hey,
so I think that's why you can't give him the super deal. You got to give him the max at least.
Zach got to earn his money. That's all there is to it. I know people think we should keep him, but let me tell the people out there something. I've been reading the chats. People seem to think that Bulls second round. The thing is, you ain't seen the Bulls play at full strength yet. Just remember that.
Yeah, I know Marcus had a different take on show process on Marcus. Marcus was good.
Wait a minute. So with this particular segment, or since you guys been on, the general consensus has been that Zach should not be a Supermax player?
No Supermax.
Okay, so you guys are saying, I'm gonna say no. I think he should be a Supermax player, and I reiterated this a few times because Supermax, in my opinion, is based on market value. So if we don't bring him back, if he's not happy with the max, if we don't bring him back at a Supermax contract, then where else are we going to get another 25 points per game? That you could say Bradley Beal, but where are you going to get another 25 points per game that possibly won't vibe with DeMar DeRozan? What we know now is that we have a good chemistry. Zach said it earlier today, and I dropped in the group. He said that DeRozan is playing on MVP level. So he's giving them the accolades. So they are playing very well together. So you risk chemistry. And just because you have scorers doesn't mean that you have chemistry. Look at LA. Look at Brooklyn last week before they broke it up. Does not automatic. So you got market value. And then you have, I get it, Zach is hurt now. But what Zach has done is a little unprecedented. There's no player in the history of the NBA, in the history of sports, that has done what LaVine has done when what was thought to be a career-ending industry. Nobody has played at this level. Not Derrick Rose, not Penny Hardaway, not Grant Hill. Nobody has played at this level. Where are we going to find another 25 points right now while we have this window? So we don't have much bargaining level. Whether you think he's top tier is probably not the case right now. What the case is, this window that we have, and a guy that scores 25 points per game, that has good chemistry with the guy who's playing at the MVP level. That's market value. That's why you Supermax him out. And I think, and the reason why I brought up his career injury or his injury past is because Zach actually has played for 3 years relatively without injury. So this notion that Zach is injured all the time or he's not Supermax, yeah, he's earned it to me.
Hey, is Zach the best player on the Bulls team right now?
You said what?
Is Zach the best player on the Bulls team right now?
Zach is the best offensive player on the Bulls team right now, and I'll tell you why. And I mentioned this to Sid the other day. And it's not even close. The things that Zach can do versus what DeMar DeRozan can do. DeMar DeRozan is a dog this year. Let me be clear. He is the MVP, definitively. I'm saying I love DeMar DeRozan. DeMar is a bucket, but DeMar is not pulling up from the third level of the mezzanines. He's not doing that like Zach is. DeMar is not better in transition than Zach is. DeMar, the only problem with Zach's game is his handle. He needs to tighten that up. But I'm telling you right now, taking them guy off the basket, Zach has so much more in his offensive repertoire. DeRozan is just deadly from mid-range, and that's what he's sticking with. So yes, in my opinion, he's a better offensive player. You got to remember, it took DeRozan, what is it, 10th, 11th year to get to this level. Zach has done this 3 years ago. Zach, to me, is better offensive.
DeRozan has always been a dog now.
This is his best season, what I'm saying. This is MVP season.
Yeah,
I'm not taking anything from DeRozan. Don't get me wrong. Don't get it twisted. I'm not taking anything. But you ask the question, who's better? I got to break it down offensively and say Zach, to me, and I can be wrong, to me, he's a better offensive player because he has more in his repertoire. That's all I'm saying. So he's as valuable. He's not Robin. It's like the Wonder Twins. If the Wonder Twins was both boys. That's what Zach
I think that I can agree offensively, Zach may be explosive. Mentally, all around, DeRozan's the better player. DeRozan's been there and has more years in the league. I give him that. That's probably what makes it. And with this team now, the way it's structured with the Bulls team, when you got Ayo, when he worked with Vooch, the chemistry offensively looking better. They still need Zach. Zach's got to learn to fit in because sometimes you see Zach floating around the perimeter while DeMar DeRozan's isolated one-on-one. He's just sitting there just watching, hands in his hips. Bro, you got to attack the basket. When you take Zach out, you got players like Derrick Jones Jr. who entered the game and Green. They're constantly slashing, dunking the ball, throwing oops. I want Zach to do that. Just slash the bucket. Learn how to play without the ball in your hands. Most players in this league, they used to control the ball hog. You got like the James Harden, the Russell Westbrooks, Zach LaVine. They can't play with the ball in their hands. A good wing player knows how to control the rock and knows how to play off the ball and constantly move. That's why you got players like Klay Thompson, who is a shooter. He's not so much of a ball handler, but constantly moving, they can post up. I like to see Zach doing more, less watching. If he ain't got the ball, more attacking the basket because he is athletic, like you say. And if he's going to the basket strong and they dishing the rock, curtains for whoever down there.
I would agree with that 1,000.
Well, I just don't.
That's a good analogy. I would agree with that. Mentally, it makes DeRozan a more sound, overall better basketball player. But if I'm bringing it down just categorically, offensively, I just think Zach probably hasn't even reached his peak. No. So I guess my ultimate answer is Zach is very valuable, and that in lies the market value piece. That if there was somebody else who perhaps we could pursue in the offseason to give us Supermax contracts, then yeah, you do that by all means. But that's market value. Who else is out there that will fill that gap while we're amidst this 3-year window that we have DeRozan? You have to think about that.
That's true.
Right.
I think Sid keep going out, but
I thought he was just staring at us, looking at us crazy. Like, did you say this?
He keep going out. But one thing, there was something about, I don't know if he's about to bring it up now, but since he got the break, he was talking about earlier. We was talking about Vooch not getting elected to All-Star with Jared Allen. My bad. Here you go. You got cut out on us a little bit.
Yeah, I know my internet has got messed up in his basement. No, I was asking. I mean, so Marcus said, our whole thing was Max will handcuff them of getting other players if that's the case. So are you willing to jeopardize that to give him?
I don't think it's a
Max.
If you notice what Acme Arturas Karnisovas, it's not Karnisovas. I thought it's Karnisovas. That's not relevant. And Mark Eversley, you notice that their thing is they don't make moves just to make moves. Anybody got that? Yeah, y'all noticed that? They're into making moves that moves the needle. They're not gonna they didn't get rid of any young talent for somebody who will marginally help them. I think what they're, and I've said this before, don't be surprised if you see them pursue Joker. And that's going to be when Vucevic's contract is up. So you may have a whole new big three, well, a big three that consists of Jokic, Zach, and DeRozan, which they still can afford. DeRozan's only getting $80 million for 3 years. Zach can still get Supermax along with Jokic, if DeRozan is still at $80 million. So I don't think that would mess up. They got to, and then Reinsdorf, they have to be ready to get luxury tax.
They got Lonzo Ball too.
But Lonzo Ball hasn't proved anything right now. I mean, he got to stay on the floor. His plus wins with him on the floor has to go up. I mean, what is he? I mean, we know that he's good in the break. We know that he's good, but is he durable? Is he dependable? Is he going to be here? He has an injury history in his short career. So I don't think that this front office is going to base or stake their future on Lonzo Ball. I think Zach right now is a priority. Is he going to stay healthy? Is he going to need the surgery? Zach is the priority right now. What are we going to do?
It also leads you into the question of if you give him a supermax, then when Kobe, Ayo, and Patrick Williams contracts are up, do you have the room to re-sign those guys?
You won't need to resign them all because Kobe is an enigma anyway. We have a log jam at point guard. We have 4 of them. Somebody's going to be gone anyway. You know, there's not going to be a question of, you know, even though Kobe is good, this is probably why he may be traded next year on off season because of the contract situation. I don't think that Kobe White is going to be that big of a priority when it comes to free agency, knowing that Joker is on the block next year. I don't think that they're going to say, "Oh, we got to keep Kobe White." You know what I'm saying? I think he's expendable in that. We got 4 point guards.
Yeah, and somebody just said,
and Ayo ain't going nowhere.
It's Ayo just is going to make Ball expendable, and I said that too.
Hey, I said that.
Yeah, we said that earlier.
We could.
We were saying that if Ayo was with the Bulls from last year, they wouldn't even, and it was playing like he's playing right now. This year, they would have Ayo playing the point guard position. So I don't want to rule out Ball because I think he brings a lot to the table as well. But he's not going to get, as long as we got Ayo, he's not going to be one of those players the Bulls say, "Oh, we got to sign him back."
Right.
At all.
Here's the thing.
Because you got Ayo.
Here's the thing with Ayo. Ayo is a second-round pick. Ayo is something that a lot of people that watch the Bulls, if you watch them in Illinois, you kind of know about him. But a lot of people that think that Ayo is going to have the impact he has right now. Ayo is doing what Ball should be doing, but Ball is hurt. And like you say, he's making Ball expendable. Ball is a good player, but Ayo sees the floor. He's a rookie. He can run the floor. He can play defense, and so Ball can too. So you got 2 of the same players, and they're both young. One is just younger. This is crazy. So, but I like Ayo. He shocked me. I didn't think he's gonna come in the league like this, being a second-round pick. Man, you got to give a big props to GMs because that boy is dishing and controlling the floor and handling everything while Ball been gone. He's been doing his thing, guarding some of the best players because he's like Ayo 6'6". No, he's pretty long. He's been guarding some of the best players on the team, man. So he's been guided by DeMar DeRozan as well. So man, he's gonna be something nice, man. He's gonna be dangerous.
Yeah, and that's why I said Ball. Ayo is playing with what Ball, like you said, Ayo is playing what Ball is playing, should be playing like right now, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And he's doing it at an early stage of his career. Ball is playing like this now. 4 years. You know,
you have an internet problem. You cut out the last part, but hey, I got out. We got the show going on next, man. I'm get a Marcus, man. We was about to go head to head on that Zach Max thing, man. I gotta get out of here though.
All right, then. Like I said, we'll catch up. We'll catch up again after the All-Star break.
All right, peace out.
Peace out, man.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. We got one more thing before because my internet is so jacked up or whatever. So we got one more thing I want to, and this was been going. There was a post you post up there by Jared Allen making the All-Star, and not Booch.
Oh God.
I said, I mean, I want Jared Allen to make all. I mean, Boots shouldn't have been considered. He shouldn't have been, to me, he should have been considered. You know, he's averaging what, two more points than Allen. And because he's 16 and 11, Boots is 12 and 18 and 12. So they got pretty much the same average.
But the Bulls have been better longer, man. Let's just, if we're going to reward winning, and I think you made the most valid point that they did it because Cleveland needs their representative in Cleveland.
Right.
So they threw them that. I mean, aside from that, we can argue all night. But if we're talking impact and deserving is Vooch, man. Because, like I said, the Bulls have been at the number 1 seed or up there longer than any team in the Eastern Conference on a per-day total basis. And look at what Vooch has done to fill the Zach LaVine void in these last 2 weeks. He's totally stepped it up, man. So it's clear that, the game is in Cleveland. They need a representative. I actually don't have a problem with that. We have 2. I'm good. Now, if neither team had no All-Stars and the Bulls was where they were or where they are now, and Vooch's stats are a little better, because who's to say, like you say, you always say, like, when Vooch has a bad game, man, he didn't stop shooting threes. Or he's not clicking. The chemistry, right? Who's to say that Jared didn't have those same games? We don't know that. You know what I mean? We should see his stats at 16 and 11. Mm-hmm. We don't know that he had some games that was sucky. So I mean, go figure.
But but he's not even a second or third option of scoring. I mean, 10 shots a game. Vooch is taking, I think it's 18, 19 a game. So he's not a focal point to score. He's a defensive presence of looking at that. Allen should be over for Vooch. It's some other players should have been in. That's if we're going about stats. Like I said, Julius Randle in both of them. So I mean, that's why it probably took him out of the picture of that. But you also Jaylen Brown. His average with Boston is good. He averaged 22, 6, and something like that with his team. But they had to fill that void with Cleveland 2-on-2.
Yeah, I don't know if Tim was going to say anything, but yeah, I agree. I agree with that. But New York hasn't won. They've been terrible as a team. They're not deserving. That's genuinely a case of numbers, empty stats. It doesn't mean anything because you reward people for winning and propelling, or a player that propels your team to some sort of contention in the standings. And you can go for 30 a night. Well, maybe you go for 30 a night, you'll go. But his numbers are not aren't anywhere near that. So he's not deserving. So maybe it was between Vooch and Jared.
But you know what? I mean, because I'm having real problem with the internet. I know I'm probably breaking up a lot. I don't want to keep this going, and it's like the broadcast is not doing too well or whatever. So we're gonna cut it right there. What we're gonna do is gonna come back after the All-Star break, and then we should see. Hopefully, they could pick up some players through the buyout. We'll just come back again. We just come back again next week. When they come back, I think the first game is next Wednesday, or whatever. After tomorrow. The following Wednesday, I think they come back, or whatever. But I don't want to hold you guys up, in the internet service right here is not doing too good. So we're going ahead and sign off for Full Clip Bulls Talk. We'll talk to you guys next week.
Peace out.